Welcome to the Future Proof podcast. My name's Jav.
My name's Michael.
And today we're just going to get straight into it. There's been some interesting and huge announcements which I think are going to affect the future of businesses in the UK specifically, because the government have just announced that they are going to be focusing on changing the curriculum, and now they're going to be teaching AI to GCSE and A-level students and financial literacy classes, which is something I wish I had that when I was growing up, because half the stuff that I was taught, I don't know if I even use it now. But yeah, I think we want to talk about like how big of an impact that's going to have on society, on business owners, because obviously that's who we primarily talk to, and just the world in general, because I think that that's going to affect us on a local level, on a national level, and on a global level as well for the UK as well. So I guess really my question to you, bro, the first thing is, how do you think on what comes to mind for you straight away when you hear they're going to actually be teaching AI as something for teenagers to be learning in school?
Yeah, no, obviously it's good. So it says the new curriculum will be implemented in full for first teaching from September 2028. So government will aim to publish the final revised national curriculum by spring 2027. So we're in 2025, so it's about to be 2026, so we're 2 years away. I think it's good, man. I think they probably heard a lot of people's cries. I think they probably did it out of a necessity than just out of the goodness of their heart, unfortunately, to be very honest with you.
What do you mean by that?
Because I don't think they just did it from sentiment that, oh, we just need to do something better for the curriculum. I think that they're falling behind. All of the countries, all over the world, all the powerhouse countries are taking it very seriously with AI, whether it's building the infrastructure to hold the data centers and all of that, or just, like you said, the curriculum side of things as well. But all in all, I think it's good, man. I think it's needed. What about you? What do you think?
Before I get to what I think, so do you think it's more about the government wanting to focus more on their national interest rather than they care about the people, I guess?
Yeah, because look, they've tied it in with financial literacy, which clearly means that they were probably being nudged to teach financial literacy for years, probably decades.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I've heard that as well a lot. We've said it on multiple podcasts. So definitely, I think they've just known that, okay, we need to factor in AI ASAP, because I've been thinking this over the last year or so, specifically because I've been doing work in schools, right? So I'm doing a little bit of work in schools. We was on a program first, Boys Mean Business. It was for kids like 14 to 17 in a school in London. And I'm talking to them and I'm wondering, like, you ask somebody something, and let's say out of a class of 20, yeah, there's one kid that uses brain to say, oh, I've got this project to do, and it's outside of school anyway, let me go to ChatGPT. There's one kid out of 20, the rest are there struggling. There's kids there who have bad dyslexia, they can't really read and write, and they're struggling on Microsoft Word. And I'm thinking, why don't you know to use ChatGPT? What's the problem? Like, do you get what I mean? And it's just so kind of like, it's, they're more busy on TikTok and other these things.
But then I was seeing somewhere that like a lot of schools were discouraging kids from using,
they were banning it. They was banning it.
So I guess the question is like how I'm assuming then that the school system are going to be changing their attitude towards AI if they're going to be
100%
teaching kids to do AI. Because, like, to answer your initial question, what was my first thoughts? I just thought it's about time. It's about time. Even when I think more about the financial literacy than the AI, to be honest, because I just think that, like, growing up, there's a lot of stuff that I always felt like in school that I don't need this. When they're teaching us, what's the thing with the triangle? Pythagoras theory, whatever. I'm like, bro, I'm not going to use this, bro. I'm not saying it doesn't have any relevance, but I'm 30, bro. I've never used it in my life, bro. Knowing pi and the circle stuff, bro, I've never used it. I know that's relevant for certain things, but me personally, I've never used it. There's a lot of stuff that, bro, reading Macbeth, I didn't need that in school, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, there's a lot of things that I just think, wow, like, they really wasted my time. What would have been better for me was learning about tax. Like, imagine the first year I went unemployed, self-employed, not unemployed. And having to do your self-assessment, tax return. I'm like, bro, I don't know what this is, bro. This is scary to me. So I think teaching kids that kind of stuff is going to be very powerful. And I think it's going to have a long-lasting impact. And there's another part to that we've always said, people in Britain are not very entrepreneurial. I think it's there, but we don't have that spirit of like a lot of business owners, a lot of people that want to do startups.
Yeah,
it's just not a British thing.
No, it's not. It's very reserved and scared.
Exactly. We're a very fearful country of doing things that are different.
Yeah.
I think that this little change in the curriculum might spark a bit more entrepreneurial mindset in the younger generation, which we may not see the effects of that for 20, 30 years.
True, exactly.
But I think if you teach them this stuff, especially like digital literacy, financial awareness, they're going to be more inclined to maybe think, I can do stuff on my own. Because a big part of this, as I was reading a lot of the articles, basically this whole curriculum change is being led by a professor named Becky Francis, right? And she basically was saying that the current schooling model is too overloaded and it's just based on exams. It's nothing to do with like modern skills.
100%.
So I think if we change that approach, then we might spark more minds that are open to entrepreneurship and business startups. And to be honest, when you've got an economy that has a lot of small businesses, that drives a lot of the economy.
100%.
You know what I mean? So
we even said it, we're here, right? And we're in this building doing the podcast. There's probably like 100 businesses here. Just on this floor, there's probably like 20. And it was the same when we went to do the medicals the other day. In that, it's a shopping mall. But then they also have the businesses operating out of there, just like, renting office space. And they're all there and they all work. There's all workers there. They're all thriving. Some might be more profitable than others, but there's business for them. And it's because, like you said, that you're just building an economy that thrives, right? And yeah, 100% teaching the kids. What you do is you have less people in debt. You have more people that have more money, better spending power, everything like that. So yeah, 100%.
And I think one of the things this does do is I think it addresses like the skill gap issue that I think we have in this country, because we have a lot of, we talk about a lot of people that are unemployed, and then there's a lot of people that say, well, these people are not qualified to get the kind of income that they want. And I think if we can improve the skills of individuals, then they'll be more likely and they'll be more eligible to get certain jobs, certain roles. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that affects this country, because I don't want to say people don't have money, but people have less disposable income at this current moment than we've probably seen for a little while, with the whole economy stuff kind of being a bit of a mess. So yeah, I think the next thing then, because this is something that's going to affect us in the future as well, is like how this kind of change in the curriculum affects business owners specifically. So my first thing is, if we get kids that are fully aware of AI, they're fully aware of maybe money management, financial literacy, they are going to be way more job ready. I would assume they're going to be a lot more job ready come graduation, leaving school, grad jobs. They're going to be more skilled to maybe enter the workforce and have a bigger impact. But then on the flip side, if everyone's being taught the same thing, then everyone's going to be at the same level. So how do you differentiate yourself? But I think for business owners, they're going to have a more I think their workforce is going to be more, how would I describe it?
Empowered.
More empowered, but hey, sorry to cut you. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, but I need to let you know this one quick thing. If you press in the description, you will see we have a 14-day AI sales playbook. It's for any business owner that wants to scale using AI. It's one email every single day that gives you exact tools, tricks, and tips that we use in our businesses and our clients to help them scale, basically. It's completely free. Anyway, back to the podcast. Let's go. More ready to just hit the ground running, because there's less training I'm assuming there's going to be less training that needs to be done. Like the next generation of workers and the workforce, they're going to be ready. Like they're going to know what's going on.
I think, you know what, man, one thing I'll definitely say is, not to be negative, but I don't know how much trust we can put into the government in terms of what they're going to be teaching. They change at a super high rate, right? But you continue to not actually teach that in schools, universities, anywhere. That's been negligence for the last, for decades and decades. So for now, it's like, all right, to say that, yeah, we're going to add it in, we don't really know the specifics. And it could be just like a basic level fundamental, because like I said, I'm in a school and one out of all the people are actually using ChatGPT. And that's at even just a basic level to ask questions. It doesn't even really know little basic things, like you just still have to actually check it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not guaranteed to not be mistakes and hallucinations. So I would say that I would just really encourage people to still do their research. And I think we've got to kind of stop putting too much onus on the government, more people. And this is where the business opportunity comes for me. The government are showing you, because they're kind of behind, right? They're usually lagging and they just, forced to make change. They're showing us that this is a big thing. Like teaching the younger people financial literacy and AI is a big thing. So if you are a business or you're whoever, like do it. You should be teaching that. You should teach the kids. You should teach that. You should do a course for parents to say, we'll teach, like tutors.
Yeah.
Tutors was a big thing back in the day, bro.
My sister used to get tutoring.
Tutors was a big deal. All my little sisters done it. Do tutoring for financial literacy or AI. It's a business model that everyone can do.
I mean, that leads us to what we might start doing as well, which is going and doing the public talks and
teaching
and
people this stuff
and corporate, because that's something that, we're offering and we're going to be pushing a lot more, is going into corporations, training team members, going into schools, delivering seminars on how to utilize AI in a practical sense.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably what they won't be teaching, like all the different ways you can use AI.
Exactly.
Because they could just end up getting like a basic.
Because that's, that connects with is what you said earlier. And that was that in school, they teach you a bunch of stuff that you don't need, right? So that is a fundamental flaw in itself. I think everyone should get like a basic level of training, right? Of, fundamentals, maths, English, whatever. But at a certain point, and this is where some people are using AI tutoring, the AI, like you should be using AI. AI should be used in school, right? To say, all right, how does this person learn? What sort of learning ability do they have? What's their sort of restrictions? What are the things they're most likely to enjoy and to thrive at? And then it creates like 3 to 4 options. The kid gets to try that and then they pursue that as they're learning, right? Obviously with the opportunity to still learn the basics of other things if the case they want to pivot, but essentially AI learning, AI tutoring, I know there are some companies that do it already. It's out there, but I think that should be a big thing as well.
As in a human being teaching the kids on AI, or AI delivering the tutoring to the child.
It can definitely be navigated by a thing, but yeah, should the AI teach or should?
Oh yeah. Should the AI is the AI teaching on?
Yeah, because how I know that, I think I mentioned this in our podcast, is the singer Khalees. She moved out to Africa, buying land, just kind of doing farming. And obviously her kids had to go out of school. So she's using some AI software to tutor her kids,
right,
to homeschool. Basically, how people like get homeschooled.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. That's interesting, man.
What do you think about that? Like, do you think that's the way to go as well? Or do you think that you're going to need...
I think if I relate it back to myself, in school, school was relatively easy for me, right? I never struggled with school. And I think that if I had something like a ChatGPT or a Claude or a Gemini, I probably would have learned faster, because I would have been able to just kind of get my questions answered quicker. Yeah. So like I was someone that I wouldn't revise for like exams, but because I knew that exams it was more of like a memory test rather than like a learning test.
100%. So cram.
It was about cramming and just knowing. As long as I knew the answers the night before, I'd be okay. That it was more about my memory. So as long and that's why being in school and kind of rapping was good, because I was able to remember lyrics. I could remember school stuff easy.
Yeah.
I didn't learn it per se, because learning is having the comprehension to understand and have context as well as like to understand and critically think about something versus regurgitating. School is more like regurgitating.
100%.
So if I can regurgitate, then exams are easy on a GCSE level, because that's what I did. Like that's easy. So, well, actually, obviously I went to uni, but it's different. So as long as you can regurgitate, that's why kids that do well in school don't always excel in life. It's not a predictor, because it's just your ability to regurgitate information, which is why, again, the professor, she's actually said that they're cutting down exam times by 10% because they don't want it to just be about exams, which makes sense, because you're going to have kids that are like me that just regurgitate rather than learning. And I think that's
they've seen the data, difference. Man. They've seen, like, I think probably since COVID, the exam results have been going down in the school. I'd fact check that, but I know that those couple of years after COVID, exam results definitely went down. And it's just, I speak to kids in that sort of age group. I got sisters, went through it, and they've just made the exams more and more pressure and, And I do think you're losing out a lot. But I think one big thing that's come out of this conversation is definitely, if you're like a teacher or a tutor or whatever, I think that collaborating with AI, if the government are giving us signs, right, they're, you know, I kind of talk about crypto sometimes, right, and finance, like crypto was booming, everything was happening with it, and it was just like a thing of the people. And then slowly, as these big banks, you know, these investment banks realized that, oh, we actually need to get involved in this, they started investing heavily, creating their coins, the government starts getting involved. So a lot of times, by the time the government gets there, they're late. Like they're slow, you know, they don't want change. They like things how it is. So they're just getting in. So it shows you that, listen, this is the wave. And I think that we did it. Like we pivoted. We started using AI heavily in our business with our marketing. And we said, nah, man, we need to, like, this needs to be the main infrastructure of what we're doing. So tutors, teachers, anyone really, any model, you need to be looking at how you can work alongside AI.
Yeah. And I think now they're saying that it's 2028, they're going to make the curriculum changes.
Completely, yeah.
But that doesn't mean you need to wait.
Exactly that.
That's probably what I would say to any of the educators, the tutors, even business owners or people that are, you know, that are educated on AI. Like, you're not going to wait till 2028 to start going hard with it, because especially on the tutoring side, like there's going to be people that want their kids to be up to date with it now before 2028 changes come in. So I wouldn't wait, because it's 3 years away and you don't know when it's coming in. So it's technically 2.5 years away.
But I'll give someone a mad idea right here, yeah? You can have a tutor room. So before, you would have to, let's say we do like the group side with the classes, you would have, you know, 10 kids or 20 kids in a room, right? And you'd stand in the front, you teach them, blah, 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 right? Now you can have kids in the room, you can stand at the front, you can direct the session. Every kid can be on their phone, AirPods, and they have to do like mini lessons with the AI, and you're just guiding, you're saying, okay, you're going to have a conversation with your AI about this side of maths, and it doesn't even have to be about AI. Do you get what I'm saying? So even how you learn, and you can have conversations, and you can track the transcripts of that conversation, see what the kid was actually doing, how they performed, get that into, it's mind blowing what you could actually do if you work alongside it.
Yeah. And I think that this is going to spark up a lot more opportunities for businesses to work with schools, like mentorships, apprenticeships, internships. Also, we mentioned about going into schools and talking. But yeah, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, obviously we'll see the fruits of this curriculum change in the next 10 to 15 years. Like you said, I have to agree, I don't really have too much faith in the government to make the best out of it, but it's a positive sign. If there is anything,
100%.
Without being negative about the government all the time
100%.
in the UK, it's a positive sign. And I hope that, you know, I've got nephews and nieces that this system will be affecting them. So I hope that, you know, it helps them, because, you know, like you said, you're working in a school and you see kids that are just on TikTok and they're not even aware of the power of AI and what's available to them. So yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
Cool. Well, listen, if you are thinking about integrating AI into your business, or, you know, even if you want to be educated on AI, we'll leave all our links and contact details in the description. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, give us a little rating as well, because that does help. Appreciate it. Jav, Michael, Scale and Edge, Future Proof Podcast. Peace.